All right, what's up, guys? We are about to go live. All right, these guys are usually right on time, so I just wanted to say have a good night to everybody, man. Enjoy the webinar. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We trade live every day at 9 a.m. right here on this channel, man. If you want to trade Forex with me, we got a great record. You know, we won 3 in a row now this week, as usual. We try to just get a quick win, you know. We try to wrap it up quick, man. I'm not going to be sitting there for 3 hours, so don't worry about that. We try to get a quick win, and we go up and we go fishing. But yeah, I'm just going to play this, guys, and I'll be watching along with y'all. You'll see me on the screen as Bobby K up in the rafters there, up in the cheap seats. All right, guys, it's going to start in a second. I'm going to go I'll say hello now on the Telegram group. Just introducing myself here, guys. All right, guys, this should be here any second. Sorry for the delay. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm running. I did it wrong. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm losing my mind here. I didn't bring it up. Sorry, guys.
Share with you guys just a couple things that's going on as usual. Kind of always, just share with the team as things are arising. We'll make sure everybody's aware. And there are a couple things I want to cover tonight that I think are probably going to be important to people at different levels, depending on what it is you're doing. Where it is you are with our project. If you're brand new versus if you've been here for a while. If you're interested in going out and sharing this right now versus some other things like how you might think about this from a philosophical standpoint. But the first thing I want to do, I want to open this up by talking about something that is very, very important, even though I know it's not probably the most fun thing to talk about. But I think it is so critical because not only do we want to build the community, we always want to protect the community, right? And I know as you guys are telling people about it, you want to protect people as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about one of my dreaded subjects that I hate talking about, but we have no choice. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about scammers and security and protecting, your assets that you work so hard to accrue, right? And then you unfortunately have to watch or hear stories about people that are out there that their entire mission in life is to try to break into your vault, if you will, right? And they come up with all these ways, and they're not all idiotic, quick to see through ways. I mean, these guys are, some of them are very, very crafty, intelligent, very talented. I would say the average scammer probably knows more about crypto than the average person involved in crypto, right? Which is how they're able to scam people because they know what the buzzwords are, they know the things to say. They do a lot of research. I mean, I remember somebody asked me, man, how do these guys do this? And it's kind of like that famous quote that's attributed to the notorious bank robber Willie Sutton. They asked him, why do you rob banks? And he simply said, because that's where the money is, right? And it was like such a simple response, but it became a very taught statement in history because people said, yeah, I guess that's why he does it. And for scammers, it's the same thing. I mean, we could sit around all day and wonder, why aren't they more ethical? Why don't they use their superpowers for the forces of good? The fact is they don't, right? They don't, and they spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, figuring out new ways to try to scam people, because it's how they've chosen to make money. So our big thing for us, though, is to do everything we can do to again protect the community. So I want to point a couple things out to you guys that I think are interesting. First, I want to tell you that in most cases, at the end of the scams, right, there's always going to have to be the same thing, which is the ask, right? If you think about crypto scammers, don't think about them like people like a robber breaking into your house. You're not home, they can break in, they can steal whatever they want. Think about them more like con artists, right? And the difference is a con artist at some point in time when they're interacting with you, they have to ask the question. The question that if you answer it, it gives them the ability to be able to take advantage of you. That's what it always is about. And the reason is because, they're really, to date so far, no one has really figured out how to break the cryptography security on a digital wallet. That's why people love this space, because of the security of the wallets, right? If you don't have the seed phrase, if you don't have that information, then you can know all about my wallet. It's all public knowledge, right? The wallets are all on the blockchain, but you can't enter into the wallet. Even though you can see what's in the wallet, you can see tens of millions of dollars in the wallet, right? You still can't enter into the wallet unless I give you the combination to the safe. So for most of these scams, it's going to be one of a couple of things, right? It's going to be some lead up, which we'll talk about here in a moment, but it's still going to end up at the end where it's like, okay, so now all you have to do is connect your wallet. Very said in a very nice tone, very friendly, just trying to help you, just trying to give you some incredible benefit. And all you have to do now to claim your reward is simply connect your wallet and enter your seed phrase so we can verify who you are. And then we're going to give you that free whatever, or we're going to do this for you, do that for you. And it sounds so, harmless, right? It's like, oh, okay, great. I'll just connect my wallet. Okay, and I put my seed phrase right there. Yep. And then all of a sudden, all of your crypto is gone because you have now given them the combination to your safe, right? So guys, if you keep that in mind, right? You keep that in mind, then you understand that at the end of the day, regardless of what the front end is, regardless of the offer or this amazing, prestidigitation that they're doing, because they're like little magicians, right? They'll throw all these things out that seem so powerful and miraculous, and it's like, wow, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to the same thing. At some point in time, they're going to say, hey, give me the location of your safe, which is your wallet, right? And now give me the combination. And if you don't do those things, they can't scam you, right? So that's the one way. It's we simply ask you to connect your wallet and then give us give them the seed phrase. The other is, connect your wallet and agree to the terms, right? And that's a little bit, that's actually more of an advanced scam situation, because they have to program something into a particular website or another. But when you're connecting your wallet and you're giving them and you're signing for these permissions and you're not really paying attention to what you're signing and clicking OK and confirm and all these things, you're actually giving them the ability to have two-way access into your wallet. Not only to be able to put stuff in, but also to take stuff out. That's a little bit more of an advance. But again, that's another way. So people try to explain to you, stay away from these malicious websites. Don't connect your wallet, to just malicious websites, because you can set yourself up to have it to be drained. The far more complex way is somebody reaching out to you, and this is normally something that's done with people who have a lot of crypto that they think that they can really take advantage of, is reaching out to you for some reason, telling you that there's been some issues in your area with the computers. You just want to check this. We're calling out from the tech companies to make sure that everything is working right on your computer. I'm a technician, blah, 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 blah. If you can log into your computer now, I'm going to walk you through a couple of things to tell you what, for me to be able to really help you If you can click here and here, you'll be giving me remote access so I can look around with you and fix some of these things to make sure you don't lose any valuable data. And then once they have access to your computer, they can do all sorts of things, including looking up if you have your phrases and everything stored in your computer, blah, 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 and they can rip you off. That's a lot more advanced. You're probably not going to see that here within our community. And then the final one is the wrench attack. I don't know if anybody knows what a wrench attack is, but this is where the digital world comes outside of the digital world into the physically tangible world, right? And there was a term that was caused when people were doing very well in crypto, and as is the tendency for a lot of people in our world today, no matter what they do, they want to go online and they want to brag about it. And there were people who were going online and showing snapshots of their wallets in their back offices where they were showing that they had millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum and BNB, because they were trying to tell people, hey, I'm in the best thing ever and I've been very successful, and hey, I've made millions of dollars. Here it is, you can see it. And then some people just figured out that, okay, since these people are posting this to their social media accounts, we know exactly who these people are. And sure enough, this is started to happen. And it's really happened globally even more than it's happened where I live at in the United States, although I think it will start happening here, is people just started showing up at these people's houses, right? Holding them, kidnapping them, holding them for ransom, and threatening their lives or something like that until they gave them access to their crypto accounts, so they could then simply transfer out those millions of dollars to another account and then simply walk away, which was that the authorities felt it's far more effective and a lot easier to execute than trying to rob a bank. If a guy's going to tell you they've got millions and they're going to show you and they're going to say it on their social media account, telling you exactly where they are, where they live, what time they work, and what time they're home, et cetera, they're kind of giving you a roadmap to rob them. And the reason why it was called a wrench attack, because there was a pretty famous cartoon that came out where a guy was sitting in front of his computer and he's got all these things. He's like, I got 3 VPNs. I've got this type of digital security. I have stuff on a cold storage. I had, it's all this stuff. He said, nobody is ever going to be able to rob me. And there's a simple burglar guy with a mask on standing behind him with this big giant wrench, right? Basically setting him up. That's the wrench attack, where that comes from. But ultimately, guys, here's what I want to say to you. What we've done is a couple things. Again, I think if we're talking about ways that we're going to protect the community, I think the first two that I talked about are going to be the most common scams that you're going to run into. Some scenario where someone is telling you they're trying to help you or they're trying to give you something. You've been forced to win this contest, so now all you have to do is connect your wallet into your seed phrase so we can verify that you are who you say you are. And then we're going to give you that free $1,000 or something along those lines. Or we're going to transfer you those free tokens, or we're going to migrate you, over to the new platform. All these types of things, it's all still ending with the same ask. Connect your wallet, give me your seed phrase. I'm going to tell you, there is no scenario in the universe where you should be giving anyone your seed phrase. Not to me, not to who's pretending to be me. Not to Mark Ross or who's pretending to be Mark Ross, not to Lori or the professor or who's pretending to be Lori, or the professor. You guys understand that? Don't do it. We're never, ever, ever going to ask you for your seed phrase. Anyone asking you for your seed phrase, claiming to be somebody from SOSANA, is not from SOSANA. I need you to understand that. And even outside of SOSANA, never give anyone your seed phrase. It is that simple. No matter how ridiculous the upfront offer is, you just won $1 million. All you have to do to claim your $1 million is give us your seed phrase. Don't do it. I don't know how to say it any clearer than that, because what I've seen is that no matter how many times we say this, what starts to happen is the offers, and I'm going to show you an example of that. I'll give you an example of it here in a second. The offers just keep becoming so compelling up front, either fear of loss, right? Where it's like, hey, you're about to lose all your tokens if you don't do this, right? Or anticipation of gain. Hey, you just won $1,000, you know, ran through our contest and blah, 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 blah. And the only thing we need to give it to you is for you to do this information. Either way, it's a scam, okay? It is a scam. And I need you guys to kind of get that in your head. If you notice, when somebody comes into our Telegram group, right, and they're welcome
famous
to the
mobster in New York,
from
New York, named Vinny.
And in there is a video that Mark Ross put together that will show you how to set up your Telegram so that no one
besides Vincent Gigante,
who is not
who's another famous mobster from New York named Vinny.
Most people are not looking at that video, or they're looking at that video, but they're not taking the action. Here's how I know. Because of the type of scams that are happening. Here's the most common one that's happening in our community. It's the Mark Ross call. You know, I know Mark's going to hate that I say that, but for some reason, and maybe because he's the co-founder, so he has a lot of credibility, there are, you know, people will get a Telegram call. That's probably interesting too. It's a Telegram call, right? And it will say Mark Ross, like you'll see Mark Ross's name come across. I'm telling you guys right now, just right away, you should let all your new people. There is zero scenario where Mark Ross is actually just going to be out of the blue calling you on Telegram. But that's okay. If they're not getting that, make sure they get what I'm about to say. Okay, you will get the Mark Ross call, and it won't be Mark Ross. I mean, I think the scammers used to say that this was Mark Ross, and they realized it was a stupid thing to say because all of them had foreign accents. None of them sounded anything like Mark Ross, and everybody that they were calling has heard Mark Ross on these live calls. So that wasn't working, right? It was like people were like, "This isn't Mark," and you know, click. So that wasn't really being too effective. So now it's, hey, I'm calling. I actually work. I'm part of Mark Ross's team, you know, for help and support, and I wanted to give you a call, and then insert whatever else they say. Now, here's what these guys are doing. They are looking into our Telegram group because, again, people can look in the Telegram group, and they're looking for people that are asking certain type of questions that indicate either one of two things. Number one, the person is very confused, right? Maybe, you know, it indicates that they're really, really, really brand new, and therefore that's a great person to call because if they don't really understand much about crypto, they appear to be confused. We can definitely take advantage of them. I know it's horrible, but this is what they're doing. Or number two, the person is asking for some legitimate help with something, and it's like, ooh, right away they'll pounce on it, and they'll do the Mark Ross call. Like, hey, I work with Mark Ross. You know, I don't know what, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I'm here to help you. So I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to get you situated. Tell me again what the issue you're having. Okay, great. I can definitely help you with that. It's only going to take a few minutes. I tell you what, all I need you to do, and then comes the ask. All we need you to do is to connect your wallet, right? I'm going to take you to a screen right now. Okay, go to this screen. Okay, great. Connect your wallet, and just so I can verify. I love the scam, right? They're the scammer. They're the criminal, right? But they put you into a posture where it's like, we need you to prove who you are. Even though they called you, if you think about that logically, it doesn't make any sense, right? It's like somebody calling me and saying, who is this? I'm like, you called me. What are you talking about? How are you asking me who I am? But that's what they're doing. They're saying, we need to just to verify who you are. So go ahead, just you see it's asking you for your seed phrase. Just pop that in right there. Hey, while you're typing it in, I won't even look. Okay, just type that in right there, and that'll actually give up, you know, verify who you are, and then I'll be able to help you. And then that's it. Your crypto's gone, right? It's proof. It's gone. And I know this because then we'll hear the story afterwards. I've seen people post some things. Unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, it doesn't happen a lot, but I've seen it posted in Telegram. I know we've gotten some individual calls from some people from their upline support team saying, you're not going to believe what happened to my guy, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And when we get the details, that's exactly what's going on. And they're like, I was disarmed. The guy said he worked with Mark Ross, or it said Mark Ross when it came up on the Telegram label, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I don't care what it says on the phone. I don't care what it says. When it gets to the part that they're saying, connect your wallet and give me your seed phrase, hang up. Okay, that needs to be the end of it, right? Keep in mind, again, Mark Ross is not just going to be calling anybody, or his team is not just going to be calling anybody out of the blue for no reason at all. That should be the first red flag. But even if that's not the red flag, don't give up your seed phrase. So that's the first one. The second one that's seeming to become a little bit more common, or at least for some people, it's not happening to everyone. And none of these things, by the way, are happening to everyone, right? But, I want you to kind of be on alert for it. And more importantly, keep your team on alert for it, is the fake email, right? And this is how you know that, again, I say this, scammers they're on their post, man. They are not lazy people. They are doing their job. They are sitting here. They're probably a couple, maybe watching this presentation live right now. But if not, I'm sure they have a shift somewhere where they'll watch our recordings and they're listening for things that we say that they can use as potential buzzwords later in some sort of scam attack, some sort of email, some sort of whatever that might sound like, I don't know, maybe there's just enough truth there that this might be true, right? So, they'll send you an email and it'll be, hey, yeah. So as you know, we're in the last few steps of migrating over our tokens or something. And somebody says, I don't know, I think I might have heard about migration. And it usually has some sort of threat. If you don't migrate your tokens soon, you may lose all of your SOSANA tokens. Now, if I don't know what's going on, if I'm not paying attention, if migration sounds maybe familiar somewhere, that might click in my brain. And then when I see the implied threat of I could lose all of my tokens, I got to click in and see what's going on. You click in and it's telling you, hey, connect your wallet here, enter your seed phrase so we can verify who you are, and we'll replace all of your existing tokens with the new etc. Once again, if you get it, you guys are getting the theme, you are going to get robbed, right? Guys, I'll tell you something, man. For those of you that plug in with us, you have to know there is no scenario in the universe where we are the type of people that would ever tell people that are a part of our community, if you don't do this immediately, you're going to lose all of your tokens. I mean, who does that? And I don't know who does that. We don't do that, right? We would never do that, right? So guys, I don't, again, and this is the kind of stuff for some of you, even if you're laughing, like I would never fall for these things. People are falling for these things, and some of them may be people on your team, right? So somehow, even though we're giving off, we think we're communicating out to people as often as possible, we need some reinforced communication from you. It's really the reason why I'm talking about it right now, is because I want your help, right? I want your help with reinforcing this to you. Anybody that you invite into the Telegram group, anyone that you invite into the Telegram group, that invitation, when you're inviting them, you should make sure that, hey, watch that video that's going to come with the welcome, and make sure you set your Telegram up so that you're not getting bogus phone calls. And you should give them just a cursory warning about scamming. If nothing else, make sure they understand if they're new to crypto, and we have attracted a lot of people that are new to crypto, no matter who's asking for it. I don't care if it's the priest. Don't ever give up your seed phrase to anyone. The moment you do that, you are giving people permission to rob you. So that is something that I want you guys to understand. The final one, and this is one that may have impacted some of you here recently. I was on a leadership call. We actually got a good laugh out of it because, we're all pretty adept at this. We pretty much know when something's a scam, but I know it popped up in some people's wallets. And I think it only went to people's wallets if you have over a certain amount in your wallet, I believe, right? I don't think it went to everybody's wallet, but there is something that happened recently it was underneath the moniker of juke markets, where if you popped into your wallet, you were amazed because all of a sudden you had $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 more in your wallet. What a happy day, right? I mean, if you have multiple tokens in your wallet, you looked in there and you said to yourself, whoa, something that I own must be way up, right? And then as you started looking through that, you saw something that said juke markets, right? And initially it might have said jukemarkets.com, right? And it said that $6,000, you had X amount of tokens and it was worth $6,000. Now that is a hell of a dusting, right? And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, dusting is just somebody dropping a token into your wallet that normally to advertise or something like that. And normally when that's done, it's done for like less than a penny. A $6,000 dusting, it's a heck of a dusting, right? But the point is, if you notice it, right, and you'd say, okay, first of all, there is no universe where somebody's just going to give me $6,000 for nothing. It's my lucky day. So right away, you should know that it's a scam, right? Right away, you should know that it's a scam. But even if you don't, even if you're saying, well, maybe it's real because it did change the amount in my wallet. Even if you don't understand what's going on, you still should not do what they're trying to get you to do, which is clearly they named their token jukemarkets.com. It's an attempt to get you to go to jukemarkets.com. So you can then be regaled with all the glitz and the glamour and the prestidigitation of how amazingly you're so lucky. You're one of the lucky few in the universe that we decided to give $6,000 to for our special marketing campaign. It's your lucky day. You hit the lottery, even though you never purchased a ticket. You hit the lottery, and all you need to do to claim that value is connect your wallet. You guys got it? And so you can just delete it. You can go report it as spam and delete it. But these guys were like, all I can say is they are on their post, because after you deleted it, you may have noticed that maybe a couple of hours later, it came back as jukemarkets.io, right? So again, a different web address, same exact thing, but another attempt. Hey, you didn't fall for the scam the first time. Maybe we're going to get your curiosity up until you finally go to one of these websites. And then once you've deleted that, jukemarkets.app, etc., guys, I'm going to say to you once again, whether you understand how they're doing that or not, how they're making a token look like you've got $6,000 and it's really not $6,000. For anybody to tap into, I explained it to the leaders, but for anybody it's happening to, if you want to reach out, I can explain it to you offline, about what exactly what it is they did to do it. But it's a scam. It's a scam, period, right? So if you're sitting there wondering if there's some way for you to get the money, no. The answer is there's no way for you to get the money, okay? So as long as you know that, and as long as you continue to not be confused or fall for that, I think you're going to be in good shape there. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to say this, man, please, please, please protect your team. Protect your people, have these types of conversations with them. I know some of you leaders are doing like private presentations and trainings for your group, but just make this part of it. Like, not only are we going to talk, we do want to talk about how to find great projects, how to get great projects in your portfolio, how to build up your crypto wealth. We also want to talk to you about how to protect your crypto wealth. Just make that a part of what you're doing, of your trainings and your presentations. And I think collectively we'll be fine. We're going to do everything we can do. I expect that over time, and you guys heard Dave talk about bringing a security expert, and who's been very, very helpful for us already in identifying things. We expect probably in the next few years, we might spend 7 figures on security, because there's always going to be this attempt by those guys, the bad guys, trying to figure out how to outsmart the good guys. And it's just something we always have to be prepared for. But some of the best preparation is making sure that every member of the SOSANA family knows what to look for and understands that at the end of the day, there's always going to be an ask. They're going to ask you for the combination to your safe. They'll do it a lot of creative ways, but if you never give it to them, they can never rob you. Now, before I move on to something a lot more pleasant right, and a lot more fun, and then we'll kind of wrap up, I just want to check, Professor, are you there?
You hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Some mic issues for some reason. Am I coming through clear right now?
You're coming through clear now. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to turn your camera on, or do you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
I concur with everything that you just said. Were you about to ask me something? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know this is, I mean, you and I have had these talks offline. I know this is a big pain point for you, in all transparency. I mean, and I respect it. I know you are really like, hey, man, I want to protect my people. I want to protect members of the community. We got to do everything we can do, go above and beyond. Honestly, conversation I had with you kind of inspired me to talk about this tonight. You know what I mean? I said, because we got to keep, I think it's just going to have to be something that we keep circling around to over and over and over again, because they're not going to stop, right? They're not, right? They're going to keep grinding and keep trying to figure it out because like Willie Sutton says, this is where the money is. So that's where they're going to keep coming to. But before I go on to the next thing, and which again is a lot more fun and pleasant and cool, I just wanted to know, I mean, I wanted to give you the opportunity if there was something else you wanted to share about maybe a tactic or a technique that you've seen being employed that's unfortunately been effective on some people, and maybe some advice of how people can avoid it. If I've missed something, I just want to turn it over to you for a second.
One that was extremely unique, very interesting, but and hopefully nobody else will get scammed this way. The gentleman had crypto assets in Coinbase.
Okay.
Hadn't been in Coinbase in a while. Went in Coinbase, wasn't sure how to navigate. All right. And he went to Google and he typed in, looking for, some type of support from Coinbase. All right. And bad guys were positioned on the front page of Google.
That's right. Yep.
So he calls an 800 number, thinking that he's getting in touch with Coinbase.
Yeah.
And they did, very nice, very professional. I'm here to help you out. Yep. And did this. I think what they did remote access to his computer.
Yep.
And, they were nice all the way up until the point that he sees that all his crypto was gone. Yep. And then they started asking him even more questions about his bank accounts, what have you. And that's when it hit him. Oh my gosh, I think I've been scammed. So here was a situation. This had nothing to do with SOSANA.
Yeah.
But here was a situation where, he Googles, he's calling an 800 number, and he's thinking he's getting support from Coinbase. We just got to be very, very vigilant.
That's right. That's right.
What most people, I know, and it felt like a violation to me when someone reaches out to me and says, "Hey, did you just call me on Telegram?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, I don't ever call anyone on Telegram."
That's right. That's right.
Well, I just got a call saying that they were. No, that's not me. I know I've had people who said that Lori called them. I know Lori didn't call them.
That's
Keith
right.
Mason called them.
That's
Mark Ross called them.
Yeah.
So folks understand, and I think you put it very well. There's never a situation in SOSANA where you guys, when I say you guys, you, Mark, David Track, are going to move so fast that it causes us to have to be in a rush.
That's right. That's right. Good point. Thank you.
So there's no rush. All right. Somebody, you think someone is responding to you. I know one thing that some scammers were doing, they were going to the help and support.
Yep.
The Telegram help and support. And then they were calling people, or they were private messaging people. I saw your information and help and support, and I'm here to assist you, or what have you. Listen, go. There's no rush. We're here Monday through Thursday.
That's right.
Somebody approaches you with something, come Monday through Thursday, type it into the general chat. Hey, was that you, Brian?
Yep, exactly.
Hey, was that you, Mark?
That's right.
All right. And chances are, if you're plugged in with someone like Curtis Abbott, as an example, okay, Curtis, who's been part of some leadership things, what have you, Curtis is going to know firsthand, as an example, okay? So you've got Monday through Thursday, and if it comes on Friday or Saturday, we're not going to have to rush. Come back on Monday night.
Yep.
While we're on the Zoom, in the chat, all right, and say, hey, is there some migration that's going on?
Exactly.
Because it'll be announced here.
Yep. Yep.
Not just going through some arbitrary
little email. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So no need to rush. Please be careful and set up your Telegram. I just posted training video there in the general chat. Set up your Telegram. That's going to weed out a lot of those folks who are adding you to fake SOSANA telegrams. They won't be able to do that if you do your job to protect you and to protect your community.
That's right. Yeah. So, it's funny you say that, because here's the other thing too, is a good point of what you mentioned. All of the leadership has our phone numbers, like not our Telegram phone numbers, our phone numbers, right? Directly. So if it did happen on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, you don't even have to wait if you're on the professor's team, you could say, hey, professor, I think I got a Telegram call. They said it was from Brian Lyles, or they're helping him out or something. And they're talking about, I got to migrate, or I got the email, and the professor either already knows, because we've already talked to him, no, that's a scam, or he could just call me. He could just call Mark. He could just call Dave Track and say, hey, are we sending out emails right now telling people they got to migrate their tokens? Are they going to lose them all? And you'll get the no. Doing that right away. And then you protected yourself, just taking an extra step. But again, guys, I think we are going to have to, we know, again, if they're going to stay on their posts and they're going to stay grinding, we have to stay grinding as well. But I did want to share with people. And it's funny you talk about that one about, hey, that they go into Google. It's like an update of an old scam that used to be with people's bank accounts, like where you just get a blast email that just goes out that says your Bank of America account has been compromised, because they know a ton of people have Bank of America, right? And they have a link right in the email. Click here, and it goes to a website that looks almost exactly like Bank of America, right? And they're like, and so you go put your credentials in, and you are giving them your stuff, right? Now, for the smart people who says, oh, this might be a scam, the smart person goes to Google, right? And they'll type in Google, has Bank of America account been compromised? And they own the top spot. The scammers are that shifty that they've put something in there in the top spot that looks like it's from Bank of America. You click on that and it says, if you've received an email saying that your Bank of America, it was a breach, blah, 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 blah. Please click here, and we're going to walk you through the process of how to protect your money. You click there, and they're just doing it with crypto now. And if any of you feel like, we're trying to make you paranoid, I am trying to make you a little paranoid, right? Just a little paranoid to say, I want you to be vigilant, right? I want you to understand that the very unique thing about crypto is they can't rob you unless you give them the combination to the safe. Just keep that in your mind. They can't rob me unless I give them the combination. So no matter how they ask for it, no matter what you've got to do it right away. No matter what it is, at some point in time, there's always the ask. So even if you're not sure, at some point in time, there's going to be so all I need from you now is, and right then is when right? Oh, okay, now it's been confirmed for me. Definitely a scam. So with that said, Professor, I want to switch gears here for a second, and I'm going to pull up something, and I'm going to ask for your input on some of this too. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see it, so I know that it is up. Coming?
I see it.
Okay, perfect. And I want to talk for a second here, just about this why now. And this is part of, again, I've had this presentation that we're submitting it to some really good graphics guys. They're going to make it look really cool and special. I wanted to create some content, and Mark and I went back and forth on some of this content. We spent couple of hours today, in fact, on some of this, but I just wanted to share with everyone just this piece of the benefits of timing. It's not. I mean, I most people that are on this webinar right now, I see a lot of names I recognize. You guys have been with us for a while, so I'm not going to talk to you about why you want to be involved. What we are, who we are. We're going to start doing that regularly starting next week. We'll have a couple of days we're doing AMAs, a couple of days where it's solely for presentations. But I do want to take a moment to talk about this, because I know some people are not some people, actually quite a lot of people are saying, and just, I'm talking to people and they're educated in SOSANA, but how do I create the urgency? How do I let them know that this isn't just a great thing, but it's a great thing that they might want to look at doing now? So I want to share these three things with you guys. And then, Professor, I'll come back to you on it, and then we'll actually wrap up. But these are three things: early adopter token pricing, leverage accumulation strategy, and then limited token supply. And I want to kind of hit on each one of these for you, right? So the early adopter pricing, right? I want you guys to understand kind of where we are, right? Because even for people who've been around, I think it's not really completely resonating for some of them exactly where we are in timing and why it's pretty cool, right? We launched September 2025, 0.001. Most people, it moved very quickly. Most people did not get that price, but it was around 0.001, right? And then if you think about that in terms of the growth metric, right? If you launch at 0.001, that was the original pairing price. At 10 cents, that's 100x, right? Of growth, right? 100 times growth. At 50 cents, 500x. At $1, 1,000x. Now, I'm going to tell you quite transparently, I don't know where you guys, for those of you who own our tokens right now, I know all of you got in somewhere in between this range. I have no idea where that range is. I want you to see why it doesn't even matter what that range is because of where we're going. But because of where we're going, right, you do want to think about the part where it's like, hey, you are in the kind of like in this right place at the right time. Again, like I always say, waiting for you to take the right action. So again, at 10 cents, it's at 100x. At 50 cents, it's 500x. This is great, by the way, when people are saying, so what has happened in SOSANA so far? Because I'll tell a person in a second, hey man, we launched September 2025 at 0.001. Today we're at 20 cents. So that's roughly 200x of growth in the token price in just that period of time. And I tell you what, when you save some money, you have their attention, right? It's a great way to just, because all you're trying to do is get their attention so they can then really pay attention to what SOSANA is all about. So it's a great way to kind of talk about it. But here's what I mean by early adopter pricing, right? And, some people look at it and say, yeah, but I didn't get it at 0.001, so I kind of already missed it. It's at 17 or 18 or 19 cents or 20 cents, whatever the heck it is, right? So I guess I kind of missed it, right? Because, man, if I got it at that, that's like the people said, if I got Bitcoin at 0.003, I'd be a billionaire by now. And I always say, nope, because you would have sold it when it went up to $1 and then dropped back down to 7 cents. So you wouldn't be a billionaire right now, right? But by any stretch of the imagination. But I get your point. But keep in mind, man, what we're talking about, what we're playing for, is to aggressively do the things that will take this token from here, where it is right now, wherever it is in this range right now, wherever you bought it in this range, to $100 per token and then more. But the reason why I stopped here at $100, Mark has talked, incessantly about all the factors that are involved with SOSANA that has him passionately believing that not only will we exceed $100, but that we'll exceed that. We're not talking about 10 years from now, or 5 years from now, or even 2 years from now. Like, this is something that is within striking range, right? That we could potentially do in the next 12 months, right? And he talks about it. And what I want you to realize is, even if you got in at $1, right? At $1, from $1 to $100 would still be 100x for you. For those of you that are in less than $1 for your pricing, which is the vast majority of all the people are somewhere between 0.001 and definitely less than $1. That number just gets bigger. What was that, 50 cents? If that was your average cost that you got for your tokens, right? Then we're talking about 200x to go from 50 cents up to 100. At 10 cents, we're talking about 1,000x, right? So you're still right now in a range where, as this continues to build and grow, you have the ability to get several multiples on your capital investment into the token. That's where you want to be, right? Before the masses, before the price goes up, before everybody's saying, "Oh my God, guess what? SOSANA's at $30, right?" And you're hearing about it then at $30, where if we go to $100, that's only like a little over 3x, versus hearing about it now where it could be 100x, 200x, 300x, 400x, et cetera, et cetera. The way to take your SOSANA holdings and really leverage them. So early adopter pricing, I'll tell you right now, most people in the crypto space, when they're looking for projects to get involved in, and they're looking for as the professor always talks about, their next Bitcoin, This is what they're looking for. They're looking for hearing about a project that they can get excited about and hearing about it early enough before everybody knows about it, so they can get the greatest leverage from the initial pricing that they can take advantage of as it grows, so they can actually turn a little into a whole lot. That's the first part of it, and as it turns to why now. The second part is leverage accumulation, right? As you guys know, we have an affiliate members reward system that is set up to literally help people earn additional SOSANA tokens simply by going out and sharing SOSANA with others, right? Now, I'm not going to go through all the percentages and what you need to do to get to the different ranks and et cetera, but I just want to show you a concept, and I want it to kind of stick in your head about why it is this is so powerful, and why it is the people who truly understand this are out there really taking advantage of this right now. So the first thing is this. Let's just say, just for ease of math, that the SOSANA token was sitting at 25 cents, right? And this is easy for math purposes. And then you went out and you did something today, in the affiliate plan. You referred a few people, or some people within your 3 levels, referred some people, etc. But no matter what that combination was, it's not important. What's important is that it generated for you $100 worth of tokens, right? So tokens that will equate to $100 in value, because remember, we're compensating you with SOSANA tokens, okay? If you earn $100 at 25 cents each per token, you would get 400 tokens. Basic math, 0.25 times 100 equals 400. You would get 400 SOSANA tokens, and the value of those SOSANA tokens at the moment that you earn them would be $100. Pretty simple math to understand. Here's where it gets interesting, right? We fast forward now, and I don't know, 3 months down the road, 4 months down the road, 5 months down the road, not really important to me, but we fast forward now, and the price has gone up to $10, right? So the price has gone up to $10 per token. And now, at some point in time, let's say a few months down the road, or 4 months down the road, the price at $10 a token, you do the exact same effort that you did before, no more, no less, to generate $100 worth of commissions, right? $100 worth of commissions. Now, if the price of the token is at $10, your $100 worth of commissions now will only get you 10 SOSANA tokens. Still worth the same amount, right? Still, now, they're $10 tokens. So 10 tokens equals the $100. $100 is $100 is $100, right? So you're not being cheated, right? The tokens are more valuable now. So you get less of them, right? That's basic math. That makes sense. But here's what you could miss by thinking about this for a second, right? Which is simply this. If you held on to those 400 tokens from when you did it before, you held on to those tokens, those 400 tokens would now be worth $10 each, which means that $100 worth of commissions that you got for that effort that you put forth for $100, the same effort you're putting forth later for $100 is now rewarding you with $4,000 in value because of the amount of tokens that you got, that you earned and held, just by going out there and accumulating these tokens early on. So the same effort that you're going to put in later, right, is going to provide you with a dollar reward that is equal to if you put it in now, right? But the result of doing it now is that doing it now instead of later, you are putting yourself in position to have an ultimate reward that is far, far higher, if that makes sense. And guys, the other way of looking at this as well is that if you wait, you say, I'm just going to wait. It's, once the token gets to $10, then I'll be a true believer. Then I'll be excited. Then I'll go out and do this. Well, think about it for a minute. What happened here is the token went from 25 cents, to $10, right? That is a growth of 40 times, right? So from 25 cents up to $10, right? That's a growth of 40x, right? Which is why the $100 times 40 became $4,000. If you wait until it gets to $10 to say, okay, now that it's at $10, I'm a true believer. Now I'm going to go to work. And you go out and get $100 worth of effort to get your 10 tokens. If you want to get the same level of growth now, then you're going to have to take the token price from $10 to $400 to get the same exact result that you got by having the token go from 25 cents to $10, right? Because now for you to turn this into $4,000, you'd have to have a token price. You got 10 tokens, you need the token now to be worth $400 each for these 10 tokens to be worth $4,000. If you guys can follow that math. So the question I want you to think about is, do you believe it will be easier for us to go from 25 cents to $10, or easier for us to go from $10 to $400? I'm definitely thinking 25 cents to $10, one man's opinion, right? But you figure it out. And even if it did go from $10 to $400, which would be awesome, you still would have rather have gotten tokens at 25 cents, right? And held them, because now when they get to $400 per token, right? $400 per token, and you've got 400 tokens, what is that, $16,000? You guys understand? So, oh no, I'm sorry. That's 160,000.
160.
I was like, I think I'm missing some zeros there.
Yeah.
That would be $160,000. So imagine that. Right, by the way, you're putting forth the effort at a 25-cent token price to earn $100, earning 400 tokens, and holding those tokens all the way not up to a $10 price, but a $400 price, and that's $160,000, guys. So you can use the numbers however you want, but no matter how you look at it, putting forth the effort now to leverage the accumulation by sharing this with others and having them do the same and being rewarded with SOSANA tokens, the sooner the better, right? The sooner the better multiples you'll get, right? The sooner, the higher the reward's going to be for you in the future and allow you to build a better financial protection around you and your family. That's the number two. Final thing is just token supply, right? This is a supply demand curve. I'm not trying to teach an economics class here, although I could. No, one of my favorite classes, but I'm not trying to teach an economics class. I think most people, whether you understand economics or not, you do understand, at least conceptually wise, supply and demand, right? The higher the supply versus a low demand, right? Then you got a high supply of something, a low demand, the price is going to be really low, right? Because we got an infinite amount of it. This is and nobody wants it. The higher the demand versus a low supply, the price goes up and up and up, right? So you always want to be in a scenario. If you're in a scenario where you have an asset that you own where the price can increase, one thing you're always looking at is, are we in a scenario where we can have a high demand and a low supply? Because if we have a high demand and low supply, the price will continue to go up and up and up and up and up. That's where you be at. Guys, look at oil right now. Look at gasoline right now, worldwide, especially the United States, because of what's happening in the Middle East, right? They said the supply is being affected. The demand has not changed, right? People still need gas in their cars. The price of gas is way up, right? It's the same thing. It's supply and demand. So if you understand that, understand this, right? We have a maximum token supply, 88,888,888 tokens that we're ever going to have in supply, that we're ever going to have. The vast majority of those tokens, right? Vast majority of those tokens, about 50-something thousand of them, or 50-something million, I'm sorry, 50-something thousand would be nothing. 50-something million, it's like 52, 54, 55 million, something like that. Vast majority of those tokens are currently right now not in circulation. Not in circulation, right? The vast majority of those tokens will start to become in circulation over the next 6 years, right? After 6 years, they'll all be in circulation. There'll never be another SOSANA token coming into circulation after 6 years. But there's that 1 year period, right, from the time that the wallets were locked up, a 1 year cliff period. And then from that period, from that point forward, as soon as that 1 year is over, on 1 year and then on 1 day, so 366 days later, They start dripping tokens slowly, consistently over a 5-year period from then, putting more tokens into supply. What does that mean? It means simply this. As we go out right now and we build buzz for SOSANA, we build excitement, we attract new wallet holders, we get more people experiencing the voting, we find more and more quality projects, and we promote those projects, and people get excited about those projects, and they want to come back and they want to learn about other projects they can hold in their portfolio, so they can have a real asset, growth portfolio. As more and more people are attracted and become excited, our wallet holder total grows. More people are buying our tokens, not just holding a minimum of 50 or 500 so they can nominate or they can vote, but realizing that this itself is a really growth asset, and they're trying to hold thousands of dollars of SOSANA like a lot of you are doing right now. More people want to get to that level of being able to hold thousands of dollars of SOSANA, but any increased demand, because that will be increased demand for a year from now, it will not be met with increased supply. Do you understand that? That is a phenomenal position to be in, guys. A phenomenal position, knowing that we can go out and we can ramp up the demand, ramp up the demand, ramp up the demand, ramp up the demand without any additional supply being put into the market, which means there's only one choice in economics of what will happen. The price will go up. The price will continue to go up because it's always looking for equilibrium. It's going to keep going up until it finally gets to a point that some of the people holding onto the SOSANA token saying, okay, at that price, I got to sell some, which then allows more tokens to come in, to be in circulation for people who are trying to get those tokens to meet that demand. That's how it works. But that is a phenomenal position for us to be in, because the rollout of the supply is in our favor, that for a year, any increased demand will not be met with increased supply, which means the only way to get more circulating tokens and get them out of people's hands is to keep raising the price until people say, hey, at this price, I'll sell some. That's how the marketplace works. So 3 incredible things, guys, that we're working with, right? This ability to the leverage token supply, the ability for you to go out and get this limited token supply right here, the ability for you to leverage through our affiliate plan. 3 amazing ways that we've put together to really set us up to be able to win and to give you some real incentive, some real urgency, if you will, to not only get started with us now, but to engage now, because you'll never have a better chance to take advantage of these things. Every day, every time the price ticks up by a penny or 10 cents or 5 cents or 10 cents or 20 cents or 50 cents or $1, it's still a great opportunity, but not as great as it was when it was 10 cents less, 50 cents less, $1 less, if that makes sense to you guys, in terms of how you can get the multiples. And within this next year, as we're really able to ramp it up before any additional tokens, and even when they come, they're going to come in small little amounts, right? Over 5 years, right? We're going to have a chance to make sure we're always making the demand in a position to outpace the supply, to continue to put positive price pressure and continue to help the people that have become founders with us and getting it at the lowest possible prices to have the best chance to win. So with that said, Professor, I'm turning it to you, man. My voice is gone now, but if you want to comment on any of that, man, I'd appreciate, I'm sure the team would appreciate hearing what your thoughts are about some of that, and then we can wrap it up.
I love Wednesdays. I love your Wednesday training, man. I'm always, again, I'm the pupil. On Wednesdays, I'm the pupil. Could you do me a favor, and could you bring back up the PowerPoint and take it to the leveraged accumulation? And now this will help people better understand the story they've heard me mention when I say, let's go back one slide. That one right there. Okay. All right. So when I say, hey, I introduced this guy, and he wasn't a great business, a huge business builder, but he did refer a few, that referred a few and what have you. And he became a multimillionaire, but I didn't. All right. Here's one of the reasons why. All right. So Bitcoin is $515 when I start with that particular project that required Bitcoin. We also got paid in Bitcoin. So when it goes down from 500 down to 4, down to 3, down to 2, down to $166, we were making more pieces of Bitcoin.
Right.
I didn't get it. And what I did, because I didn't get it and I stopped really actively promoting that business, when I accumulated enough Bitcoin, I would convert it into usable, spendable cash. I needed it. My wife was sick. I needed it. She was in a really bad way. My buddy didn't have to do that. So he was able to accumulate, at 25 cents. I'm using the numbers you have here. At 25 cents, at 30 cents, at 50 cents. So by the time Bitcoin got to 6,000, he's got quite a bit of Bitcoin. And when he reaches out to me and says, hey, because of you, I'm a multimillionaire. And I said, well, what the heck did I do? Well, Bitcoin had gotten up to 20,000, and I think it was about 18 grand when he told me he was a multimillionaire. So it goes from 500 down to 166. He's just accumulating. I'm selling to convert to usable, spendable cash. Made sense at the time. I needed it at the time. Mm-hmm. But then 4 years down the road, he's a multimillionaire. I'm not, but I'm the one that referred him. It's exciting for him, but boy, was I kicking myself in the patootie. That's why I keep saying SOSANA is my Bitcoin. This is my redemption.
That's right.
For redemption. So I wanted people who've heard that story to be able to see that with those numbers up there. The more we do, and I had never even thought about the last one you just hit on, that we've got a year that we don't have any additional supply coming out. So this is the time to really build demand, because that would just cause prices to go up. I hadn't even thought about that, which is why you can call me the pupil.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I'll tell you a funny story. I know you tell your Bitcoin story a lot. I have a truck, and I blew the engine in my truck, and they told me it was going to cost $15,000 to replace the engine, right? And at the time, I had a bunch of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin at the time I think was at about maybe I think it was at 10 grand. I think it was at 10 grand, like right around $10,000. So I cashed out $15,000 worth of Bitcoin and paid for the new engine in my truck. And I'll never forget when Bitcoin hit $100,000, man. And I was like, okay, so now I have a $150,000 engine in my $75,000 truck, right? So I'm never getting rid of this thing. I'm going to drive this thing until it literally just crumbles on the road, like until it disintegrates on the road, because I could never get for it what I put into it. Because that's really awesome. I got like I tell people, I got $150,000 engine in that. They're like, what? The whole thing's not worth it. It is to me, $150,000, and it's serious, but that's how I think about it, because I had no desire to cash out that Bitcoin. But at the time I was like, man, I could take a $15,000 cash reserve hit, or I could use this. I said, man, I'm going to use this, to just do it so it doesn't. Because it was like, very few people expect a $15,000 expense to pop out of the blue, right? And I was like, yeah, I'll just do this. Man, do I regret it. I should have just spent the cash. I really, really, to this day, I regret it. But so that's my Bitcoin story, my $150,000 engine. So anyway, man, appreciate you, Professor. Appreciate the team being here. Hopefully, guys, this has been helpful to you. Again, the first part about how to protect your people, I mean that. I know the professor really means that from the bottom of his heart. So does all the leadership, man. We want to see people win. We don't want to see people get hurt. So make sure you guys are sharing with your people as much as possible. And hopefully, guys, that thing we showed there at the end, man, the sense of urgency of why now. Like, if you can get good at sharing that, of understanding it yourself, but in sharing it with people and understanding that later on, man, when we are, I told a joke before, right? We'll be at a convention, a couple of years from now, and there'll be people in a room, and they'll be looking over at another group, and they'll be like, yo, man, you see those people over there? Those are the 25-cent people. Man, they got in when it was only 25 cents. And they'll be like, man, those guys are like, damn, they are like champions, right? And the 25-cent people will be talking, and while people are looking at them, they'll be looking at a different group set. See those people over there? Those are the 10-cent people, man. The 10-cent people. It's going to be crazy, right? Because at that point, it will be so evident of how massively the disparity can be between success just based off of a few pennies, right? Just based off the fact that you got your tokens at 10 cents, they got theirs at 25, they got theirs at $1, they got theirs at $5. All those people are going to be happy, but all of those $5 people will like say, I would kill to be a dollar person. And the dollar people will be saying, I would kill to be a 50-cent person. Guys, that's where we're going to be. So right now you're here, you're here. You have the opportunity to be one of those people who gets it and who everybody else is staring at and talking about, saying, man, that's how I want you guys to think about this. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Mark Ross will be back on here, guys, with some very interesting content for you. And then we'll be laying out our schedule tomorrow of how we're going to do this from this point going forward, week after week after week. I know this is a voting week. I know you got we give you guys more time to evaluate the token. So I'm very interested to see how it works out, that people have more time to do their research and evaluate. But I think this was the right decision because people don't feel as stressed. So pretty cool. But thank you guys. Thank you, Professor. Thanks, team. Always a pleasure to see you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your night. And hopefully this helps for you guys. This recording will be up for you guys soon. Have a good night, everyone.
Recording stop.